a nice applause for you, Clarence.
Like David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You told us who you're not putting on the injured list. Have you made some determinations here today on which players will go on?
We haven't finalized it yet. Frankly, after we get done, I'm headed to Will's office. So we talked briefly about it on my way over here. So we'll get that done today.
And then you'll let us know.
Tad will let you know, because unfortunately I won't be able to spend any more time with you after today.
Todd Archer.
Or second. I mean, yeah.
Todd Archer with ESPN. We haven't seen McGovern out on the field or Basham. Are those guys, where are they compared to, we've seen Kurz, where are those guys?
I mean, just talking to those guys individually, they're making a lot of progress. I know Connor, visiting with him yesterday. He feels like he's made a bunch of gains. The last 2 days with the swelling and so forth, and in Bash, and he's in the same mindset. So they're just sitting there every day getting treatment.
Clarence, before we start to go, what's the challenge in defending Jamar Chase? I know back in the day, the Cowboys said we'll put Dion on John Taylor and double Jerry Rice. Not put your number one cornerback on, use other guys. And what's the challenge and how do you defend that?
Well, I think it's like anything. When I look at the introduction of an offense, I always look at their. If I start at the perimeter first because you're thinking matchups. You got 5 perimeter positions. Whether it's three receivers, a tight end in the back, or 2 receivers, 2 tight ends in the back, and a quarterback. And I would definitely categorize Cincinnati as having 5 of the 5. I mean, they actually have 6 really good perimeter players. I'm counting the tight end, Hayden. So what I'm saying is it makes it harder to go that route in when you want to double just one player. So it's just like anything. Elite players, great players make everybody around them better. But they definitely have a good formula in place to try to take advantage of the other one-on-one matchup. So we love the challenge. We're looking forward to it Sunday, but it definitely puts you in that mindset.
But Diggs at a point where you feel comfortable putting him on the number one receiver, let him follow him.
Well, I mean, just pure general. I think we feel comfortable putting Trayvon on anybody. But once again, I think we talked about this a little bit the other day. You have your concepts. Some people call it the dirty dozen, the terrific 20, whatever your number of concepts that you feel really, really good about. And we're no different defensively. You want to live in those as much as you can based on who you're playing, matchup-wise, but also, how do you think they're going to attack you schematically. So that's all part of the conversation. So I think more of those type of matchup game plan decisions are probably more situational. So, and that's something I would look for Sunday.
Babe.
Babe Laufenberg, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Cincinnati, they were very good against the run last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously played very well against the run against Pittsburgh. What makes them so good?
Well, they're definitely in sync, and I think the thing that jumps out is that when you see consistency and technique, and the consistency and the energy and the effort, and that's the finish of the play. We talk about it in here, no different. We talk about it as a football team. Playing above the 2.3 is that's the only way you can be consistent with your production and execution in this league. And they do a really good job of that. They do a great job of second and third reaction. I mean, you can see the discipline in their pass rush as far as the hand and head placement. So they're very coordinated. They play with high energy. They've got a lot of experience. They're physical. So this is a heck of a defensive front for us to compete against.
Got it.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Do you ever recall a time where you have so many talented young quarterbacks under 30 that are at an elite level, like you would see it one obviously on Sunday?
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's great for the league. And I think it's it's obviously an emphasis, but we're definitely seeing one in Joe Burrow this week. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it is definitely the quarterback youth pendulum has swung back up, and it's exciting for our league.
Dave.
Kind of following up on that, and what you were saying earlier in the week on Burrow, you always ask like where a quarterback is, but where is he specifically in his third year of development when you think back on other good quarterbacks in this league that early in their career? I mean, is he ahead in some ways, or where's he? What sets him apart?
I think one of the biggest hurdles an NFL quarterback has to get over is when they play without any caution, you know, and he's definitely crossed that threshold. So I mean, you can see the confidence that he has in his receivers, the confidence that he has in himself in the pocket, the ability to slide his feet and make throws, you know, ability to come out of the pocket, you know, he steps out of tackles. So he's a very, very confident quarterback. You know, obviously physically he can make all the throws. His deep ball is exceptional, but he plays with a very, very high level of confidence. You know, negative plays don't affect this guy. I mean, he just, you know, he kind of has a corners mentality, you know, and you know, to play corner in this league, if you get hit with a big play, you're on to the next play, and that's something you have to have, you know, for all positions. But I think Joe Burrow definitely has that as a quarterback.
Is that more temperament or technique? I mean, it's a combination of both, I assume, but.
Well, I think it's more personality and development, instincts and awareness and experience and all those things. You know, I think, you know, whatever his background is as far as mental conditioning, you know, he's a very confident player, you know, and you can see that, you know, because obviously my first exposure is probably a lot like yours is last year at LSU. I mean, you know, he didn't just come onto the scene and play well. He jumped on the scene and won the Heisman Trophy. So, and he's still playing with Chase too. So I mean, so you got that connection and so forth. But yeah, he's an excellent young quarterback.
Mike McCarthy, Dallas Morning News. Terence Steele, aside from the penalties on Sunday, do you feel he showed a lot of positive between those, and what do you feel in general he brings to the run game?
Yeah, you know, Terence's toughness, you know, his mental toughness and his tenacity. I mean, those are all, you know, key attributes, you know, that we love about him. You know, and that's really, I mean, you look at his path and starting in year one. So, but you know, he's still a young ascending player. I mean, you just look at the gains he's made from year 1 to 2 and year 2 to 3. So, I mean, he's definitely a player. As I view him, as his zero is still going up. So, you know, and you know, and hey, he gets to practice against Micah, and you know, so he has, you know, a great opportunity to continue to grow. But yeah, he definitely, and he always does. You know, he plays at a high, tough. You know, his toughness and tenacity plays at a high level. But I think, you know, stating the obvious with the pre-snap penalties, you know, took a little air out of him, and but you know, he's a tough young man, and he'll bounce back, and I have great confidence in him.
Todd.
What do you need to see from Gallup to say, okay, he's game ready? And is it just medical advances that usually guys at ACL back in the day, it was, well, he's out for a year. Now it's just 7 months and he's closing in and coming back.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's always a general, not general, you know, a plan of return, you know, based on months and weeks, and you know, there's targets to hit along the way, and Michael's done an excellent job of hitting those targets, and I think we're kind of just in the final stages here, you know, a couple more targets to hit. Actually, I saw Michael right before I walked in here, and you know, and he had good soreness today. You know, he was able to get in pads, get, you know, some, you know, contact balance opportunities in practice, and frankly, he just needs more of it, you know. So I think it'll be great to get him out there for a full week next week. Yeah, he will not go this week, but he's getting close, and I think we all understand, and we don't want to be too early. If anything, we want to be right on time. But you know, if you just got to watch yourself, because it's exciting to have him out there. You know, he looks great, but you know, there's still a process of return to play that he has to finish.
Don't expect Michael Gallup of last year or a couple years ago when he was healthy early on, like he still has to ease his way into the process.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, in a lot of ways, this is not even week 1 of training camp for him, you know, because I mean, he hasn't taken a full slow to reps, so he's kind of, you know, just coming out of OTAs. I'm just trying to, you know, give you, you know, comparables. So, but yeah, he's, you know, the last threshold, you know, for coming off of major injuries, you know, is just the confidence and cutting it loose, and you know, you have to go through everything again for the first time, you know, as far as, you know, being in certain positions and so forth, and he'll just continue to work through it. But he's in a great frame of mind, and he's confident, and that's probably what's most important.
Mike, Tori Epstein, USA Today. On that game-winning drive in Minnesota last year, there was a touchdown, but right before it, Cooper made that check down to Zeke on 3rd and 11. Mm-hmm. What did you learn about him in that play, and how do plays like that help the team? Well, it's
smart football, and you know, it's just trusting your playmakers, you know, and obviously what Zeke did with the football, and you know, made the big split and picked up the first down. So I mean, it's. You know, I think that's clearly his experience, you know, not feeling that he had to make a throw to, you know, to get the first down, and, you know, we're in 4-down territory potentially. So, you know, I think that just goes to, you know, goes to why we believe in him. You know, so smart football player, knows where to go with the football. Very, very consistent, and you know we're going to need that Sunday.
And on another note, we haven't asked you yet, how is the state program working this year? Is that what y'all are doing on Fridays, mental conditioning aspect?
Yeah, definitely. The mental conditioning is part of the Saturday a.m. Meetings, and frankly, it was just because I wanted to get the whole team, coaches included, in there. You know, because we, you know, coming off last year, we felt that we can all benefit from the message together. So that's why we switched it from Friday to Saturday. But the state program has just been adjusted a little bit because obviously that's one of the components that we pulled out of the Friday. But yeah, we did it last week, and you know, the Saturday launch was perfect. So I guess the state program worked.
Mike, in general, when you have a player coming off a prolonged injury, like a Gallup or someone who's been out, you know, just a few weeks, do you like to see them in pads, generally saying twice before you make a decision, or is that changed too because you only have one padded practice a week now?
I think it's specific to the individual and his position and everything. But yeah, I mean, gosh, I would say never less than two. I mean, you got. I mean, you're talking about a major joint injury, and you know he definitely has to get the padded work. I mean, that's why I think yesterday was so important, and you know just the confidence and that he had coming out of that practice, and you know that he's expressing today is gives you hope that we're getting close.
Brad
Sham, Cowboys Radio Network. Mike, what's your experience with players coming back to play against the team that they've played for?
I mean, there's always some emotion with that. I mean, and you know, definitely you want to show your old teammates. But I think at the end of the day, when the ball's kicked off, everybody gets out there and plays, and competes and plays at a high level. I think a lot of those things are good conversations, good storylines for you guys to take advantage of. So, personally, I'm looking forward to seeing LC. It's good to see he's doing well. Good to see him healthy. So, but. Yeah, I mean, it happens, more than ever in our league now. So it's, I think it's something that maybe fuel a little bit as the game gets going. But at the end of the day, once that ball's kicked off, it's about winning.
Cal.
After the game you had last week offensively, how much do you talk to Kellen, not so much about the game plan, but just, hey, are you okay? It's encouraging him to say, don't worry about it. Kind of like we do with a player, move on to the next one.
Oh, I mean, very much. I mean, a lot, very much so. I mean, that's a big part of my job description. My job is to make sure all three coordinators are teed up to be successful. I mean, that's something that is a bright light from what I try to accomplish every single day. So yeah, I make sure Kellen, knows that I'm there, and we're going to take a lap today through the call sheet, maybe a little longer than we normally do. So I mean, those types of things. So the most important thing is not to overreact, and I just want him to feel that from me. And hey, so I got to do a better job. We all got to do a better job. We understand that after week one, but. He's in year 3 now, so I've seen him grow in all 5 areas that I feel that are important to being a coordinator, and so I have great confidence in him for Sunday.
Who was that for you when you were before you became the head coach and did the thing? Who was that for you when you were like?
Well, I'm old, and I had to do it. No, they never said. No one ever said I love you back then. So it's just kind of. Hang in there, kid. But no. I frankly, I was very fortunate, and I think I thought it helped me a lot because I always coordinated for a defensive head coach, so it was definitely like the movie Stripes, where when it didn't go well, you're out there all alone. So, but I look back at Jim Haslett and Mike Nolan, those guys. It was always great to get their perspective because it originated from the other side of the ball. So, but at the end of the day, Kellen and the offensive staff have been working on this since April. Longer than April, but working with the players since April. So, we just got to trust what we build on our menu, and you got to adjust when you have change in lineup, and we definitely are working through that, and want to make sure we're helping, but maybe not being as conservative as you'd like to be. And let's be honest. I mean, in Kellen's time as a coordinator, he's been able to play very, very aggressive. But we're in a phase right now that we gotta be a little smarter in certain situations. So I mean, that's all part of growing as a play caller.
Do you feel Gallup's recovery thus far? is a good example of the strength of your guys' in-house medical program between the decision to wait until February to have surgery itself by Cooper, and then the rehab with Brett, kind of a reference point in the future, what it looks like when a player works in-house and goes about it the right way?
Yes, I think it's an excellent example. I think, it starts with the everyday, prehab and the operation, the training staff. Obviously, they've been here a long time. It's a very consistent, professional approach. I think Brett Brown's return to play, when he gets his hands on those guys, there's great confidence, on both sides of I always tease him about his belt, but I mean, he's, he does a great job with those guys, and we obviously as an organization have great confidence in him. But just the whole process. I mean, you go back to Dr. Cooper. I think it speaks volumes about your medical program when the players stay here. They use our surgeons. They obviously use our rehab, and that's been going on here for a long time. So that's the biggest compliment I think a medical staff can have when the players know through reputation and through their agents, because getting second and third opinions is part of the process. Those are smart decisions that everybody should go through, but the fact that they do stay here, and I just think it's just better. It's better for the player, clearly, and it's better for us because we feel like we still have our arms around the player, particularly Michael, and as through rehab, the emotional support is a big part of it. So the fact that he's here with our guys, they're still in the training room, and the guys are going through, so you still have the daily interaction. I think that's all a big part of it.
Tom.
Mike, you talked about doing more third down work this week in practice. Did you guys end up adding?
Yeah, definitely. We did a little extra work yesterday in third down. The mojo moment was all third down. So, and I really liked it because, our competitive periods, and we're doing more of it than I've done, I know, in my years up north. So, and I just think that not only helps our football team, but it really helps our young guys too, because they get a chance to get out there and compete. Because we're doing 2 competitive periods, both Wednesday and Thursday. So, plus, and I'm talking, also adding the end of game 2 minute too. So, I think that's very, very helpful. So actually, we have 3 competitive periods on Thursday. But yeah, one of those was a major, emphasis was third down.
Babe.
Mike, not the first time you've lost your starting quarterback, but do you recall as either coordinator or head coach the earliest you've lost that quarterback? And then the follow-up to that is coming out of preseason with, in this instance, obviously Cooper, getting a lot of playing time, getting a lot of reps. Have you found that's been an easier transition?
I think it's a great point. I think we're much better prepared than I've ever been, just for the amount of time that Cooper, the backups played, just because of the format that we used this year, compared to the other situations that I personally experienced, losing the quarterback. So, yeah, I think from a preparation standpoint, we're prepared for this. Cooper's prepared for this, and most importantly, the whole offense, players and coaches have great confidence in Cooper.
Sure.
Mike, who was the general of the week today, and can you tell us anything about the message?
Yeah, Ryan Feeder was the general of the week. Did a tremendous job, and basically a message of belief. And I know the players enjoyed it, and I think Joe Witt and Ryan Feeder have gotten us off to a great start. So they have raised the bar. So everybody else is on notice. So you good?
Yeah.
Drop the rug.